So this is the first time I've been able to ask you a question, so I'd like to ask you two, if that's all right. First is just a clarification on the new online policy task force that was set up that the Vice President is leading, and then the second one about a significant press access issue that's impacting a lot of us in this room.
Okay.
The first one on the online policy task force that the Vice President's leading, that's getting kicked off today. On a background call last night, we were told that it's going to be different from the Disinformation Governance Board in that it's going to focus on illegal conduct online. But the memo creating it was a little bit broader and mentioned, and I'm quoting from the document, quote, online harassment, abuse, and disinformation campaigns targeting women and LGBTQI+ individuals who are public and political figures. Could you clear up the disinformation charge of this?
So I would need to talk to her team. I was not on the background call, so that specific language that you're providing to me, I would just have to check in with her. I would also encourage you to check as well with her team. I can't say more because I wasn't on the background call.
Thank you. And the press access issue, for more than a year now, the White House Press Office has been having everyone in this room RSVP to presidential events in the East Room, the State Dining Room, the Executive Office Building. And then there is a process where people are selected and able to go into these presidential events where the president often takes questions. The Correspondents Association has tried in vain to figure out how this process works. And over time, it has kind of morphed into a bit of a blacklist where certain large media outlets, such as my own, are almost
blacklist.
I'm just saying I represent the fourth largest newspaper in the country, and I haven't been selected since November. So can you?
That's a jump to a blacklist. But I'm listening. I'm listening.
I mean, it's not just me. Certain others.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
and
that.
The Correspondents Association actually wants this to be done away with. But I was hoping that you could. I know you're new in the position, but perhaps explain how the.
Can I look into
works.
it? Can I look into this? Because I actually don't know what the process that you're speaking of. I think blacklisting is a very strong word to use. We have been, we try to make sure, do our best to make sure that press gets to hear from the president directly. It is important for us. It is important for you all. It's important for the American people. And so that has been a priority. So let me look into this process that you're speaking of. Without having all the.
Getting an answer to the Correspondents Association.
You're talking about Steve Portnoy. I talk to Steve all the time. We're talking, I believe, if not today, tomorrow. We're checking in, and we'll have that conversation for sure. I'm sure he'll bring it up, and so we'll have that conversation.
Why do you keep doing this, saying that you call on people you've never called on, but you don't really call
I just called on someone. Go ahead.
You
You have the last
doing
question.
a great job as press secretary.
Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate that. So you took a question earlier about Clarence Thomas, and you said it was up to the court to decide.
Yeah.
And my understanding is not really up to the court to decide; it's up to him to decide. So the question is,
Well, no, I think the question that I got was, do we think the Clarence Thomas should recuse himself? Is that the question that you're asking?
But he's in the position of deciding whether he ought to recuse himself.
Well, then it's up to him. I'm just saying that I'm not going to comment from here. Really was what.
Whether he can move impartially.
That's not for me to decide.